Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the psychic side effects of EMF exposures, electromagnetic field exposures, and I'm going to zoom in on high frequency radio wave exposures, things like the type of radio frequencies that are created by your smartphone, your cell phone, your Wi-Fi router, neighborhood secondhand Wi-Fi, maybe frequencies that are high frequency radiations that are moving through your house from neighborhood microwave repeater antennas or masts, FM radio stations, AM radio stations, television stations, those types of things. We are today just, if you live other than in a very, very remote place on our planet, you're probably just swimming in a sea of high frequency radio wave activity every single day. And research continues to pile up how harmful this can be, how dangerous it is physically. But I think that I don't think I know, because I'm seeing it happen to me, happening to students, to clients, etc. Is another level of damage that's occurring that may be even more dangerous, and that is this psychic side effect level or subtle energy level that's being significantly damaged by this radio wave activity. And we don't want that happening, because you damage the subtle energy system, which precedes everything that physically shows up, and you're just asking for just gargantuan problems. We've got to keep the subtle energy system in good shape. So two of the areas that I'm noticing over the last 5 years, especially, a major increase in damage to these subtle energy levels. One would be the auric field, or actual aura. I myself have found that my aura is getting damaged much more frequently. I don't think it's getting damaged more easily. I think it's just getting damaged more frequently because my exposures are so much greater to this radio frequency activity. And I am tracking, there's many, many things that can damage your aura, certainly not just radio frequencies. But I am noticing in myself and in the client cases that I have handled in the last 5 years that there's just a significant level of that damage that I'm directly tracing to radio wave activity. So why do we, what are the side effects of that? What's problematic about the aura, specifically about the aura being damaged? Well, number one, when you have aura damage, you become very susceptible to picking up attachments like disembodied spirits, things like that. You become much more sensitive to chemical exposures. You become more sensitive to exposures to the finer things that surround us, the things we can't see, like germs and bacteria. You become much, much more susceptible to energetic exchanges of the non-beneficial variety from humans, from places, from objects. So, for example, if someone gets angry with you and they hurl a psychic barb at you, which is big thought form, when you don't have any aura damage and you're in really great shape energetically, we hope that thought form, and most often it will just kind of glide right by you, kind of like water off a duck's back type thing. But when you've got aura damage, you become very sticky, and it's much easier to get impressions of these thought forms that are hurled your way, or you sit next to somebody at a meeting who's having a really tough emotional time. Maybe they're holding a lot of anger or whatever, sadness or whatever, and you've got this big gaping bit of aura damage in your energy field, and your system will then be vulnerable to like photocopying or taking a picture of that other person's problem, energetic, emotional problem. And we don't want that, because whatever you're holding in that regard can then manifest in your own, can cause undesirable manifestations in your own life, from experiential things involving relationships or money or health, and you just don't want that. So the aura is important to keep patched up. We don't want to be walking around every day with aura damage. So how do you do that? It's a big topic. I've got lots lots of in-depth training on this on my website at sedonaportal.com in the video vault, the Senzar video vault. If you ever want to check that out, go there. Today I'm going to give you some quick tips on how you might patch up your aura that usually are pretty effective, these particular strategies. So one would be to number one, you've got to test to see, do you have any aura damage? You kind of have to, like a GPS tracking system, zoom in on, do I have any aura damage? And it aligns your whole system to that so that you can then fix it. If you get yes, you do. And how are you going to check that? You're going to check it with dowsing or simple muscle testing. Now, if you don't know how to do that, again, go to my website and you can download a free lesson on how to dowse and how to do simple muscle testing, like using your fingers. You know, if you go to a chiropractor a lot of times, or, you know, different doctors, they'll use where, you know, they have you hold out your arm, but you don't need to do that. You can test yourself and just use your fingers, and, or you'll see an approach in the lesson that does something like this. But you're just going to do muscle testing or dowsing to get simple yes or no answers. So do I have any aura damage is the question. And if you get a yes, then try this strategy. Start by saying, well, okay, show me, or otherwise communicate to me. You're talking to yourself, your big operating system. Show me, or otherwise show me an image or a sound, or let me sense a sound. Let me otherwise sense. Show me, or let me otherwise sense what would balance and repair this damage or discord that's occurring in my aura at this time. Show me, or let me otherwise sense what would repair or harmonize or balance this damage or discord that's occurring in my aura at this time. And then just open the mind and heart and see what floats in. So you might instantly see like a seashell, or you might hear a fire engine, or you might hear the sound of the ocean, or you might smell something like maybe lavender, or you might smell something that's not so pleasant like ammonia. Make no judgment. Whatever comes in, you want to trust that that is a frequency. It represents a frequency that will be beneficial to what you're attempting to do. And then once you get your sights and your sound, your images, your sounds, or whatever comes in, then just hold your mind on the task and just say, please apply. You're talking to yourself, please, your operating system. Please apply this, whatever it is, the seashell, the ammonia, to the areas of damage and discord that I'd like to repair as appropriate. Please apply as appropriate these images, whatever, and then see what happens. Now, you can then, after the fact, see if you've made any progress. You can just check, have I fully repaired my aura? You'll either get a yes or no. If you get a no, then go again and go again and go again. If you're a highly sensitive person like me, and it's doing all or a partial repair, this procedure, you'll actually feel it. Almost always when there's, especially when you're highly sensitive, when there is aura damage, you'll have some kind of corresponding physical sensation. Like you might have a headache, or your knee might hurt, or you might have, you might be really grouchy, or you might have, that would be one, really grouchy, or a really, tense or anxious or something like that. You'll have some kind of symptom, physical or emotional symptom. You might have a pain in your back that just came out of nowhere. And when you do the aura repair, it will lessen the pain, or it will take away the pain, or take away the grouchiness, just like that. And there are many things that can cause those symptoms that I just mentioned, not just aura damage, but sometimes all it is aura damage, and you do an effective aura repair and those symptoms just fade away just like that. So doing the image or sound or the frequency application method, it's all about frequency application, but this particular method with sights, with images, with sounds, with smells can be very, very powerful. You also, another approach might be to try essential oils. Very often essential oils will be effective with aura damage. And again, just first isolate, do I have any aura damage? Yes. You can also check where is the aura damage, where approximately in my system is it? Is it near any of the major chakras, like near the first chakra, second, third, fourth, fifth, and get a basic bearing of where the aura damage is can be quite helpful to getting it right, getting the repair accurately and appropriately targeted. But it's not always necessary. necessary to do that, but can be very helpful. Apply the essential oils to that location, or just generally just say to your operating system, wherever the damage or discord is, please apply the frequency of this essential oil as you're smelling the essential oil, as you're anointing yourself with the essential oil, or maybe misting yourself with the essential oil in a little bit of water. Apply this as appropriate. Hold the intention. Don't just apply the oil. Hold the intention. Please harmonize and repair any damage and discord in my auric system. So that would be another one. Smudging sometimes can also be effective for minor aura repair, minor aura damage. Things like having sage on hand, or maybe frankincense or dragon's blood resin. Those are really powerful resins that you can put on a little bit of charcoal to make a smoke, and then just waft it all over yourself. Clove is also just boiling a little some whole cloves in water can often accomplish aura repair. So those are just some basic ideas. If you want to learn more, again, you can find more in-depth training on my website. So aura damage is something that causes a whole slew of problems. If you're wandering around daily with aura damage, and that is not addressed, ever, or you have long-standing aura damage in the same spot in your auric field for 2 years, you're going to end up physically sick. I mean, it's just that's going to happen. So you want to keep the aura repaired. It'll cause a lot of problems physically. Ultimately, it will cause physical problems. Before the physical problems, it will cause things that can be very, very uncomfortable and create undesirable life circumstances. Again, spirit attachments and energetic exchanges from other people can cause major shifts in your life experience of the negative variety. So you don't want any of that. The second area that I'm seeing a significant level of damage, and this is fairly new. I only started observing this. This may have been going on longer than when I started really observing it, but it's going on excessively now. Really, it's really amping up and ramping up. And it's damage to a level of our system that I call the spirit unit. And the spirit unit, I don't have time in a simple YouTube video it's not appropriate to get into this depth of training that's required to understand the spirit unit. But I'm going to give you a little analogy just to kind of get you exposed to the idea basically. And that is the spirit unit is the first level of manifestation. And it basically is time. And I think of it kind of like a lens, and this lens of time. And I believe the way that we are created is that the thought of us is first created, I believe, by us, and then projected through this lens of time. And on the other side, the thought form, it's like a blueprint, shows up and creates the matrix for then the physical manifestation to actually occur. But it starts with, we've got to go through this time lens. If there is any damage on that lens, it's problematic, because the thought form, which is like a blueprint, when it's projected through the lens, the allness of it doesn't get through. You have kind of a shoddy thought form, a shoddy thought form on the other side of that lens. It's got missing pieces, and it's almost like the all of you is not actually showing up. You look like you're standing there, but there's actually these little bits of you missing. And that's a problem. And if too many bits of you are missing, what happens is what we call disease. And if enough, if the disease gets bigger and bigger and bigger, then you get sick and ultimately die and all that kind of thing. So we want as much of that initial thought form to be getting through that lens at all time. And so we need that lens to be in really great shape. One of the things that has started happening in the last couple of years is the spirit. Everything has a spirit unit. Every organ and gland and cell that you've got has this little lens behind the manifestation of that element of reality. And even the chakra system, the chakras themselves, they're things. They're like organs, subtle energy organs, and they have spirit units. They have a spirit unit behind them. Now, I've known for many, many years, for decades actually, about the spirit unit of organs and glands and how important it is to keep the spirit unit of the organs and glands. If you really want to work with subtle energies, you start there, making sure the aura and the spirit unit, and making sure that that spirit unit is in good shape. And if you do that, you can stay perpetually healthy. It's really extraordinary what you can do by managing those two things. But one of the things that's happened in the last 2 years is I've started noticing for the first time aura damage, or not aura damage, spirit unit damage at a chakra level. And I've been aware of it, again, for a very long time when it comes to organs and glands, the denser aspect of us. But I rarely would see spirit unit damage at the chakra level. Well, spirit unit damage is now occurring at that level very frequently, and I'm tracing it to radio frequency exposures. And it's not the radio frequencies themselves, it's not the radiation itself, it's the data that is traveling on the radio waves. All these radio waves, television, your Wi-Fi, all of that, they're little bits of data encoded on those radio waves. And that is moving right through you. Now, we're consciously oblivious of this, but our subconscious mind and our subtle energy system is not oblivious to this. It's actually sensing the data flow. And the data flow is nudging the subconscious mind to look at our memory archives for anything that relates to what's on the data flow. And what's happening in that subconscious observation of our own memory archives is we're awakening belief codes, and it is belief codes that cause all spirit unit damage. So we're basically damaging ourselves by paying attention at a subconscious level to the data, and then belief codes are being triggered. It's almost like popcorn popping. They don't necessarily stay on the surface for very long, but they are awakened at least temporarily, and that causes spirit unit damage just like that. If that's happening on a daily basis, especially if it's happening at a chakra level, which is what's going on at this point because of the massive level of exposure. It's almost like we can't avoid paying attention to the data because there's so much data moving through us, and the system is reacting. The energetic system is responding. So when you get spirit unit damage at that high level, that level of the what makes us up, it's incredibly problematic because it opens the doors for energetic entanglements. It increases the likelihood of energetic exchanges from people, places, objects that I've talked about before. I have other videos on that. When you get spirit unit damage, it increases your general vulnerability to the negative elements of any environment, everything from chemicals, anything, germs, bacteria, you name it. You become much more vulnerable when the spirit unit is damaged. But what especially becomes problematic is that you become vulnerable to energetic entanglements, not just picking up a psychic attack or maybe photocopying somebody else's energy. You greatly increase the likelihood of being entangled with other people's energy systems in a negative way. For example, chakra linking, which is kind of like a modem connection between two computers. And once that occurs, you start passing energy. And if the person who has chakra linked you is not in a good way, if they've got a lot of trapped emotional stuff going on, they've got a lot of issues going on in their life, maybe they're not healthy, you can actually start taking on a lot and duplicating in your own life their bits or all of their life experience. So it's not a fun thing. You can read more about chakra linking and where I first got exposed to it, which is a long time ago, in my book, Chasing the Shadow of Free Will. You can get that on my website. And I have many seminars and even some YouTube videos that talk briefly about this. And then I've got some in-depth training, advanced training on this topic as well. But the long and the short of it is that I'm seeing for the first time ever, massive, I've seen damage, spirit unit damage in the chakra system before, but not like this, not like what I'm seeing now. I'm seeing excessive damage to the chakra system. And the chakra system is so crucially important, the well-being of that, to our overall well-being. It's crucially important to our overall physical well-being. So what do you do about that? What do you do? Well, number one, try to minimize your exposures. That would be number one to the radio wave activity. Turn off the cell phones, turn off the Wi-Fi, as often as possible. Try to get out in nature more often where there's less radio wave activity. Go to areas where there's less radio wave activity to give your system a chance to, on autopilot. It will make every effort to automatically repair itself. Many times, if the exposure is brief, you may get damage and your system will automatically repair itself. What's happening now is overexposure, exposure that the system simply can't deal with because it's happening day after day after day after day. So try to reduce the exposures. The second thing is just use an intention approach. The spirit unit level is very fine, and it doesn't take much to at least temporarily repair it. Think of it as a stream of light, this beautiful stream of light, all whipping and swirling. This is what it looks like, at least in my vision. All swirling, but it's like the light is not connected when the spirit unit gets damaged. It's like there's these little breaks in the stream of light. We can't have those. We don't want to have those breaks. So I just hold the intention. When I first discovered all this, here's how I would fix my own spirit unit. And I was working with organs and glands. First, I was just working generally with my overall body. But I got more detailed, started focusing on organs and glands, found that to be profoundly powerful to do that, to keep the spirit unit of organs and glands patched up, and even more so to keep the spirit unit of the chakra system patched up, make sure there's never any damage there. But you can do it with just intention. Please connect all aspects. It's about these disconnects. Please connect all aspects of the spirit unit of my spleen or the spirit unit of my seventh chakra. The spirit unit breaks are not being actually caused, again, by the radio waves themselves. What's happening is the spirit unit breaks are being caused by us awakening belief codes in response to the data that we're sensing at a subconscious level. Belief codes are what cause all the awakening and holding of active belief codes is what causes all spirit unit damage. So it can be a very complicated affair and take you years to learn how to effectively and rapidly clear belief codes. So you probably do want to do that at some point. It can be very, very helpful in regards to helping you stay healthy and increasing your longevity. But for now, use just intention. It's going to be a temporary approach. You may have to do it every day, multiple times a day, but just stop. Do I have any breaks in the spirit unit, especially in my chakra system? Yes. Okay. Please connect all aspects of the spirit unit of my chakra system. Please connect all aspects of the spirit unit of my chakra system. Just hold that intention. I now just say, because my system understands what I'm after, please connect the dots. Do I have any damage? Yes. Please connect the dots. Just do that. Anyway, that's what I can share with you today, what we have time to talk about today. Pay attention to many of you who watch my programs. I know that you are exposed to things like managing the aura. You're probably not exposed to information about the spirit unit, but you're probably exposed to stuff. There's lots of stuff on the internet about aura repair. Pay attention to that and start making sure that you're patching up your aura. You're checking it more regularly because odds are high it's becoming damaged more frequently because of these radio wave exposures. And then add to your routine every day this new procedure where you're going to check the spirit unit, especially of your chakras. Keep that in good shape. Patch the spirit unit of those chakras up every single day, and it will be a very, very beneficial thing for you. So I hope you enjoyed the program today and that you'll immediately apply what I'm talking about. It will help you. Bye for now.